Annan's best. It's June 26, 2023. Alright. I'm making these up off the cuff. I came up with this last night. I didn't come up with it. It's actually something I think about all the time, actually, is protecting your time. Read my lips. Protect your time at all costs. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, your daughter, your son, that dude at work who wants to grab a beer with you. Tell them all to F off. Your time is valuable. Well, I'm about to be hit by a car. Oh no, we're fine. Your time is valuable. Okay? So valuable. So, you've made a decision. I want to get jacked. Alright. Well, yeah, you can have a program and do all that stuff, but it doesn't matter much if you freaking can't get to the gym anyway to do the work, to put the time in. Because it's not going to be like, one more workout, bro, and I'll be ripped. That's not how this works. You will be in and out of the gym day after day, week after week, year after year. Forget everything you see online. These dudes who are freaking jacked, okay, on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts. Forget all that stuff. Okay, these guys, and by the way, I'm not shooting down people who do this. I'm actually not. I know how much work that goes into training, but they are on anabolic steroids. Again, I'm not shooting them down. I'm not shooting them down. Even though you're on anabolic steroids, the amount of time and effort you have to put in to make that happen is still quite astounding. But it's going to take you time. And if you have people in your life when you're trying to achieve something, sucking up your time. Like I said, I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your girlfriend, wife, husband, don't give a flying flip. Tell them to back down, and you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Okay? It's simple as that, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to say that to people. Learn to say no. Your time's valuable. What have I been hearing on the internet for the last couple of years? That you're only on this planet for about 1 billion heartbeats. Okay, well, if you're in your 30s and your 40s, time's running out. Time is running out, and me at my age of 45, I've realized time is running out. Okay, not in a bad, negative kind of way. Like I don't think I'm gonna keel over and die tomorrow or die like in a tragic blimp accident or anything. But the time's running out. You need to do something for yourself. Richard Cooper says, chase excellence. Actually, he's not the only one. A lot of guys say that. And they're right. Chase excellence. And how are you going to do that if you have every person in your life trying to suck up your time? Your time is valuable. My girl got mad at me once. It was, I don't know, it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to go work out. And she got a little upset with me, and she was like, got very, not loud, but you know how women can be. Women will, they get quiet. They fight in the psychological. Women fight in the psychological. It's really amazing how they do it. And it's definitely not a shot. When I see the behavior, it impresses me. And she got mad at me for wanting to work out. Ignored, and I went and worked out. And that's what you're going to have to do. If you want to see any change in your life, like any change, you're going to have to ignore people. And why shouldn't you? It's your life. Okay? It's your life. You could be living with somebody. It doesn't matter. It's not like, you're the beast with two backs. Okay? You guys don't suddenly, morph into one creature when you get together with somebody. No, you're still your own person. They're their own person. And you have things you want to achieve. And they're going to be like at you. And it's not just your wife. It'll be your your dad doesn't agree with something you want to do, or your mom, or your best friend, or your kid, they won't agree with what you're doing. I remember, okay, good example. Growing up, my dad ran a business, a nonprofit. I thought my dad should do an at-profit. And I was like, Dad, you're wrong. Don't do a nonprofit company. You got to do profit. Make money. And my dad ignored me. I was a naysayer. And sure enough, within a few short years, my dad was making a couple $100,000 a year. And so, yeah, watch out for those people. You yourself could be one of those people. I'll say this, don't go to your friends, or if you need encouragement, don't go to your friends and family, I'll say that. But yeah, guard your time, because that business you want to start, you've been thinking about starting for a year now, and everyone around you will start shitting on you, and just ignore it. So why do you think I'm doing this video in my car? Honestly, why am I making this video in my car? It's the only time I have, and I actually have a long commute to work, so you know what, I'm going to make use of my time. Okay, I'm not like these guys. It's awesome. It's neat. Like, they build these sound studios in their house, and they run a podcast. It's really cool. See what those people did. I'm for sure, every person you see online in their sound studios doing some podcast you've never heard of, good on them. I guarantee there were people in their life saying, no, we have to go do X, Y, Z, or A, B, C. And these people said, no. They guarded their time. I guarantee it. They guarded their time. And they said, no, I am doing this. I'm building the sound studio in my basement, and made it happen. You need to put hours into anything you're interested in your life. You're going to have to put time in. You have to put time in. And there's nothing more frustrating than having a person, questioning why you're doing it. There's nothing worse. And the worst thing you can do is get mad. In Red Pill, we talk about frame. It's a rather interesting term we use, which I don't think is well described. It's like an esoteric concept almost, which you'll understand, but it's a hard one to describe. But you have these people, when you're trying to achieve something in your life, like I said, it doesn't matter who it is, and it's important to hold frame. One of the best quotes I've ever heard was from Robert Downey Jr. And in reference to, people in his life, maybe the women in his life, when he was trying to achieve something, and he said, well, I'll listen to them talk. I'll nod and agree. And just go do whatever the F I was going to do anyway. What good advice from Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr. And it's best. So I have advice for the younger men out there. In reference to guarding your time. You're in your 20s. A lot of guys in their 20s don't realize how valuable their time is. So valuable. This is your time to achieve. This is your time to achieve. In my 20s, I worked as a magician at bars. I don't look like a magician, but definitely I am. Card magician, long time. I had to put time into that. I worked bars, colleges, universities, got hired out to do stuff. I put myself first. This is your time to achieve. If you get tied down, which I did near the end of my 20s, your time when you should be, trying to level yourself up a bit will be severely hamstrung. Severely hamstrung. So guard your time. You're trying to get, into a long-term relationship with that chick down the road. Well, yeah, okay, you could do that. But my suggestion is don't do that. And try to build an interesting life. And how do we build an interesting life? Well, we need to, guard our time. There's an interesting story, which I think is relevant here, from the Rational Mail. If you haven't read the Rational Mail, you need to stop whatever the hell it is you're doing right now, bottle feeding your kid or God knows what you're doing right now, driving to work. Well, maybe if you're driving to work, keep going. Stop what you're doing. Go get that book. It has a wealth of knowledge. He has a story in it, which has always stuck with me. It's about this guy who was a banker. So, this banker, he made a fortune. Had a wife, kids, probably had an estate. Guy was doing great. But you know what he really wanted to do? He wanted to go paint. He wanted to paint pictures. I can't remember the name of the guy, the painter, but he wanted to go paint. So one day, he said, fuck it, and gave all the money to the wife, said, see ya, and he left. Left her everything, left her the family fortune, the property, left. Never saw him again. Never saw them again. He left. Went to the Caribbean or something, and he became a painter. And he became I wish I knew the guy's name, became a famous painter. He followed what he wanted to do. He guarded his time. And he went and did his own shit. This is the thing about Red Pill. They're always talking about body count, body count, body count. That's all they talk about right now. It's pulled all the autists out of the woodwork. They're all freaking out about it right now. When they should be talking about the real stuff. Like guarding your time. I think that's a Red Pill concept. That's why it made it into the Rational Mail, and no one talks about it. I think Richard Cooper has talked about it, but that painter said, you know what, that guy had the courage. And I'm not saying like what he did was right. I mean, I'm a father as well, right? So I'm not suggesting you go kick your wife and the kids to the curb. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is here's a guy who wanted to do what he wanted to do, okay? And everything you want to do takes time, and he freed up his time all right, and he went and did it, okay? And I think that's something important. We'll talk about, I just mentioned body count. We'll talk about that again. I'm watching a lot of these guys who may be borderline autistic, at least they're on the spectrum, in all these podcasts talking about this. I think I will talk about it. And it's best. The body count question. It's, oh my God. Okay, so body count. I hear guys on the Fresh and Fit podcast sounding off about it. They're not wrong. Men and women, we have different standards, right? But I think they're just, look, if you've done the work, if you put time into yourself, okay, if you've done the reading, have you been to the TRP, the Red Pill forum on Reddit? I think it's gone now. It might still be there. But at the time, I'm sure you can find it somewhere in the Wayback Machine or something. And go read the sidebar. there's some classic articles there, and one I remember from this author named Archwinger. And I think anyone who's been in this world for a while knows of the stuff he wrote. And he had this one thing he posted. I can't remember the article. It's been years since I read it, but it was a piece of really good advice. Pardon me while I have a sip of coffee because I'm driving. I'm a little tired. So this author Archwinger, and he gave a very good piece of advice, which I think everyone has forgotten, and I'm going to bring up here. Assume they're a slut, and don't dwell on it. Okay, it's really good advice. It's good advice. That little, that girl you've been with for 10 years, you've known her since she was 25. Okay, just assume, all right, that your good little girl might have not always been a good little girl. But don't ask, don't dwell, because that's it. Accepting the world for what it is. People are promiscuous, right? I see all these guys online right now just absolutely going. They keep throwing out these statistics like they're autistic. And that's not a shot against autistic people, by the way. But I think it's a good description. A woman with more than 10 people they've slept with have this complete inability to pair bond. They use all these technical terms, and I'll use technical terms like, mate guarding. Sure, okay. Sure. But they get it all these technical freaking terms like they're doctors. And really, the reality is all Red Pill was, what works with women? What do women actually like? That was the whole point. And now they've gotten obsessed with the fact that the dudes dug out your girl before you met her. Oh my God. Like, what a waste of your energy. What a waste of your energy. Seriously. And that's all they're talking about. What what's her name? Pearl Davis? One of these women that have infiltrated the Red Pill community. A girl who gets it. Okay. Here's a hint. She doesn't get it because she doesn't have the male experience. She can, in theory, get it. Right? But she'll never understand it because she's not a man. But yeah, my best suggestion for you is take Archwinger's suggestion. Assume they're a slut and don't dwell on it. Annan's best.